Okay. Sorry about that. There we go. We are live, people, and welcome to the show. Gordon will do the actual
We are
actual
live.
introduction.
Huh? We're live. Thank you, Lord. What is? Huh? Oh.
Hello, folks. I'm in a rather good mood today.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
I don't know. For as far as days go and Tuesdays go, I should say I can't complain. I mean, all my work is done. I wake up in the morning and I'm like, am I missing something? I'm like, you're not missing anything, Joe. And then your mind is so lost because you're not missing stuff. It's just like,
Yeah.
I feel like I should be worried about something. What am I supposed to be worried about today?
Okay, there's something wrong here. I'm not worried about something. So that's funny.
I woke up and I was like, yeah, you're good. Yesterday, I kind of took it easy.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, I'm behind on stuff. No, you're not. You've done everything out. This is just, you can take a few days out, chill out. So,
that's
but I'm gonna get work. This week's a little bit easier on me with school, but overall, it's been good. I mean, yeah, it's been very good. School's been very good, and life has been very good.
That's good.
All right, a sharp turn of topics here, I guess.
Well, we haven't started yet. Facebook. We
Turn it on.
Yeah. So Facebook.
All right, Facebook. You get the pre-show. You get the pre-show purview.
They get to hear the rants.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. You get the setup and all the other good stuff. I mean, to be fair, we have I don't know. I mean, we have a few viewers, honestly, who look forward to seeing us.
Actually, we do. I talk to people that, I mean, Mark Heritage listens to us. Yeah, we have actually, I was surprised on, and that's just,
Yeah, I was like, wow, somebody actually listens. Which is, I mean, I think it's bad on my part, just having low expectations, but.
So, well, I don't know if the, I'm looking up something right here, if, our algorithms are the best.
Oh, yeah.
So I know at the church, depending on, I do notice that depending on what I say, on how many, it depends on views and stuff, you know what I mean? According to Facebook, so, and then who knows what that means with Facebook even, you know what I mean? So, but, so anyways, we'll, today's topic, we're going to be talking about the Antichrist, so let me get this rolling here for Bill, since this is what it's really about, right? The radio show. All right. Are you ready?
Yep, I am ready.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Gordon Walsh.
I'm Joe Abraham.
And you're listening to?
Looking for the Evidence.
Outstanding.
I know. I'm getting better
make
at
sure
it.
my mic's on. Is your mic on? My mic's on. Oh, good. I remember one time we
Although my battery's like one more.
Oh, seriously? Mine's full. These are supposed to be changed out. So, all right. Well, hopefully it does okay. Just keep an eye on it. Just,
Yeah.
So if not, I'll hand you my mic if we have to. We have to do stuff. Hey, anyways, today's topic we're talking about the Antichrist. So, and I guess there's some variations of what that means. I guess really what I'm looking for is, is the Antichrist come? Who is he? Has he already been here? All that good stuff. So I guess that's kind of where we're coming from. Is the Antichrist here? Has he been here? And who is he? Right?
So we're covering a lot of ground.
We're covering a lot of ground, but I don't know if really, because, I mean, in today's world, right, the speculation of the Antichrist, right, it's, Vladimir Putin is the Antichrist, or Prince William. Did you know Prince William?
Oh, there's an article asking, is Donald Trump the Antichrist? I think that would be a lot more
Yeah,
interesting
Donald
for people.
Trump, the Antichrist. Barack Obama is the Antichrist. I would say probably the most common one I see is the Pope. You know, is the Antichrist, and it doesn't matter because the Pope is, can switch people. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
it's the office. It's the
Yeah, it's the
office of the Pope.
office, so it's not the office of the presidency or the presidency of Russia. It's Vladimir Putin, it's Obama, it's Trump, It's,
I mean, to be fair, they do have some level of reason to it, which is they say he seems to have a lot of sway. Um, the Antichrist is sort of a ruler of people and has a big following, which the office of the Pope historically did, have a lot of power. He was more of a person who
well,
people looked up to.
I still think the Pope has quite a bit of power and definitely influence
Yeah,
throughout
yeah,
the world.
yeah, and absolutely. And so it's not, I mean, it's not. I don't know if it's real. I mean, if it's true, but I can say that it's a good contender for the spot.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, and that's kind of like if I'm looking at, the people that talk about the Pope, I mean, if that was the case, it was the office of the Pope, right? Um, the, there is definitely influence throughout the world. I mean, the Catholic Church and their influence is everywhere. It's not, I know the Christians are that way. Islam is getting that way now, where it's getting worldwide, but those are the only real three um, religions, I guess you'd say, saying that Catholics and Protestants are two different. Okay, they're both Christians. Now there's debates on whether, the Catholics, a lot of the stuff that they do and the worship of Mary and all that stuff is, those are into question. But that's not what the radio show's about. So, but we can say that I would say that the Catholic Church probably has the most influence on governments throughout the world out of the three religions.
You think so?
I do.
Oh, well, I mean, South America, I can agree to a certain extent. I just don't see the case for Europe and North America and well, Asia primarily. I mean, Asia is primarily polytheistic. I just don't see the
Yeah,
case
I
for a
mean,
global case.
well, I see it. I see the Catholic churches just about everywhere in the industrial world. Locations.
But do you think they have
it's in,
political influence?
I do. I think there are political influence. I mean, there's nothing that I can set my thumb on it other than every president's visited the Pope and every president, does these things. And it seems, the Catholic Church has a lot of influence throughout the world, they are in Asia. The Catholics are in Asia. They may not be in China per se, but they are in Asia.
Yeah. The presence of Catholicism is definitely worldwide. My concern, but which to your credit, I think the office itself has the capability to take on more if it chose to. So if an enigmatic pope came in and he starts to consolidate the Catholics together, starts to be more vocal on media, more on political issues, I can see how he can gain a lot of popularity, with a lot less time, and take the office up to a point where now he has real political influence. I mean, I can see the possibility within one person's lifetime, or even a few short years, that can happen. I can believe that.
Right. Yeah.
That part. I think the Pope right now in his current state has that. I don't think so. But is he capable? Particularly him, I don't know. But the next Pope who comes along, can he escalate his powers and his popularity to a global standard where he has political influence? I think it's possible. The stage itself is that big.
Yes, and that's why I'm saying. I'm not saying that it's that.
It's a concern right now.
Yeah, I don't think it's a concern right now. And do I say it's the Antichrist comes out of Catholicism? I don't really would adhere to that. Not because I don't think it's possible. It's just I think the location of the Antichrist, it comes from out of the Middle East. I think particularly in Jerusalem, you know.
Well, the revelation of his identity is at the temple, right? If I'm not wrong.
Yes.
So that's and that's the part I think. That's a big sign. Well, the temple being built is one of the big signs
Right.
about the timeline that is connected to the Antichrist. Um, biblically, I mean, scholars that's sort of a milestone that has to be crossed before the Antichrist can be revealed. I guess that's one of the questions we had, right? Has the Antichrist been revealed? I guess.
Right. You know, in Revelation it says, and this is in, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but it's chapter 13, a good portion of chapter 13. I saw a beast rising out of the sea with the 10 horns and 7 heads. Now, this is where, you know, they're looking at the 7 heads of being like leaders within the nations, right? And they're, you know, commonly the 7 heads are Russia being one of them, Turkey being another. I know China's been in the mix at times. Brazil's been in the mixed. You know, so that, but it's more the northern countries, you know, that are in that mixed of 7 heads, and then the 10 horns. There's understandings of those things as well. But then it says on the horns of the blasphemous names on its heads, as the beast and the beast that I saw was like a leopard. Its feet were like bears, and its mouth was like a lion's mouth. And in the dragon gave his power and his throne and great authority. Now the dragon being Satan, right? So the Antichrist is not Satan.
Yeah.
Correct? Okay, so it's somebody that comes along and it's representing authority here on earth, but it's not Satan, right? One of its heads seemed to have a mortal wound, but its mortal wound was healed. So this is what we'll see. Like when I think I'd be willing to bet that Reagan. I do remember Reagan being shot, but I wasn't a Christian at the time. And then also in addition to that, I was younger when Reagan got shot. But I could bet to see at that point people probably thought he was Antichrist because he lived, you know, after he got shot. So people throughout history have talked about the Antichrist. You know what I mean? Oh, this person's Antichrist. That person's Antichrist. The Pope's Antichrist. Donald Trump's Antichrist. I heard a lot about being Obama being the Antichrist, and he's still apparently going to be the Antichrist because he's going to take over the UN. You know, that's what I heard. Did you hear that part? Yeah. No. So then he'll be in charge of the United Nations.
I know that the United Nations has there's a following about that the United Nations is sort of the demi one world government for right now,
right?
And it's sort of the, what do you call it, the framework or the building grounds, or sort of, which is going to help bring the one world government, and this is right now is the field where everything gets put together. And so there, and I don't know. I mean, I don't know how much of that is real. To be fair, I have very little understanding of that side to give them credit. I mean, they might have some good points there. I don't know, but I'm not gonna ridicule them nor say that everything they say is perfect. You know,
well, you know, when they talked about, you know, there's prophecies throughout the Old Testament about a particular type of tree being planted and them doing stuff. After 9/11, these trees were planted, and then they were dedicated to, you know, stuff. And it was just, I don't remember all the details. I didn't look all that up for this time, but, you know, they're always throughout. So I guess let's answer a question then. So we've talked about who is the Antichrist, right? There's been many names thrown around, okay, but I don't think we're going to know who the Antichrist is until, you know, he reveals himself, right?
Well, one of the verses I was looking at, I think First John 2, chapter 2. 1 John really is sort of the biggest book. I mean, the book that gives you the most idea of Antichrist.
Right.
So if you want to read a book that helps you to get an idea, read First John.
Antichrist is only mentioned 4 times.
Yeah.
In the scriptures.
So
right?
John seems to be the only person who mentions him, but the other people have alluded to him, like Daniel and other places. There's a mention of the
Right.
personality of the Antichrist, but John 1:2-22, I think, is pretty clear. Who is the liar but the one who denies that Jesus is the Christ? This is the Antichrist, the one who denies the Father and the Son. And to be fair, it's not just somebody on the street. You ask, do you believe in Jesus? And they say, no, I don't believe in Jesus. That's not what he's meaning there.
Okay.
You know, it's just that whoever denies Jesus is an antichrist. That's not what he's meaning. He's talking. It's more on the spiritual realm where it's you know, if you read further down, it says every spirit confesses that Christ is God, and the one that does not carry the Spirit of God, which is sort of alluding to Satan, which is because Satan knows God and yet refuses to acknowledge God and his power and his authority. So the Antichrist is now coming down the same vein and saying, "Yeah, I don't see Christ as God, although I know He is God, and I don't acknowledge the Spirit." And so then he has no part in the Spirit of God. That's what makes him an Antichrist, not just the fact that he's a mortal who walks around not believing in Jesus because he thinks it's a mythological story.
Right.
So there's a distinction between a non-believer and an Antichrist, just to make things clear.
So, but one of the things I guess when we look at the Antichrist, and we can look at, I would say, throughout Scripture, or not throughout time, to me, if Satan's going to have an Antichrist, right? If he's going to find a person that he's going to be able to influence to be the Antichrist, right? One, there's been many Antichrists throughout history. It tells us that in 1 John chapter 2, verse 18. Children, it is the last hour, and as you have heard, the Antichrist is coming. So now many Antichrists have come. Therefore, we know that it is the last hour. So we can look throughout history and say, have there been many Antichrists, right? And then if that's the case, then who are they? And then we're supposed to be able to identify that, saying, okay, they're throughout history, so therefore, we can spot the Antichrist now, right?
So
Is that what that says? I
yeah,
guess?
yeah, yeah. I mean, he's using the word Antichrist in a different meaning here. It's now he is putting the Antichrist as a personality or a certain trait that other people can have, and so then if they're that, then they are deemed to be like Antichrist.
Okay.
The Antichrist we're talking about is one person
Right.
that's coming at the end.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
but Jesus is saying there's been Antichrists throughout history, right?
Yeah, I think
or not Paul,
I
or
think
John,
they're
rather.
similar to the guy who's coming, but in a different. I mean, they have the same traits, but it's they're not all the same Antichrist that we just the guy who's going to come in the end, desecrate the temple, fight, become the leader of the world. That's a specific person, and the rest of them kind of on a smaller version emulate that spirit. And this is an opinion. I mean, at best. So going back to what I was saying about the spirit of the Antichrist, or who is an Antichrist, is John. Again, John explains himself in 1 John 4:3. He says, every spirit that does not confess Jesus is not from God. This is the spirit of the Antichrist, of which you have heard that it is coming, and now it is already in the world. So it's saying the spirit of the Antichrist, which is the spirit of unbelief, spirit of
All right.
denial of Christ's authority,
Right.
the spirit, the disobedience, the spirit of disobedience that Satan carries. The spirit that is the Antichrist in
Right.
its essence.
Okay.
But the embodiment of that spirit as a leader, as a man, the man who is going to front the war is the Antichrist that we speak of when he's coming in all his glory, I guess. So the spirit takes a form, I guess, or it becomes the man that we are all looking forward to. But the spirit of Antichrist is there in many today, and it definitely agrees. John definitely agrees with that statement, and I think that's the distinction here. Is it's in the spiritual realm. It's not physical traits or intelligence or what I believe. It's a spiritual framework that we have to look at when we're looking at the Antichrist, which is, spiritually speaking, is your spirit aligned with God, or are you knowing who God is spiritually in
Right.
your spirit? For that, you have to be a man of the spirit. I mean, you got to know that you're a spiritual being. And most people who are non-spiritual or non-religious don't acknowledge the spiritual essence of who they are, you know,
Right.
and they're either don't agree to it, they don't believe in it, or they're ignorant to it. Whatever might be, they don't qualify to know that they either are in agreement with the Spirit of God or not, because they're not venturing into that realm.
Right. So, see, this is what I believe about the Antichrist. All right. Now, I'm going to say this is, well, I can use it as supporting evidence in the Bible, but it doesn't just explicitly say it. So, there's a good portion that's my own theology or my own understanding. But I think the Antichrist has always been here. Okay. The one that would fulfill that role. And the reason I say that is because, you know, Satan, you know, there's no clear definition of how much Satan knows or how much power he knows, but we know he's not like God, right?
Yeah.
And he's not omnipresent, so he can't be everywhere at once. He's a created being, tells that in Ephesians chapter 2. Or the Bible calls him spirit who is not at works of those who are disobedient. So I take that back on the Ephesians part, but we know that he's not all-knowing, right? Where God is all-knowing. He knows everything, the beginning to the end, where Satan does not. So Satan, I believe, is always prepared, probably with more than one Antichrist, I would assume, just in case one didn't work out. You know, he's probably got a few backup plans. You know, I know in Special Forces we used to have primary, alternate, contingency, and emergency for everything that we did. So, you know, maybe Satan follows that plan, right? You know, but I kind of feel like Satan, throughout history, we've had an Antichrist person ready to go. You know, I mean, because Satan does not know when the end's going to happen. So, you know, we don't know when the end happens. We can see that as in humanity and throughout history, they're always predicting the end times. You know, just since I've been alive, I think we've had probably like 100 end times. You know, prophecies. It seems
Oh,
like.
yeah.
You know, so, but I just want you to keep this way so I can watch your green light.
Okay.
So. So I believe for my, you know, when I look at the Antichrist and his ability to know the future, he is not all-knowing. He was a created being, just like we are, and because of that, he's subject to the rules that God's allowed him to have. Now, he's very powerful and he's very intelligent, but he is limited, and because of that, I think he's placed
Well,
people out there ready to go.
just to think differently here for a moment. I mean, to your point, I think that could very well be true. It's, you know, it's a theory which we can
Yeah.
see play out. My question though, just to think differently, is it's I don't see the events of the end as a planned event that sort of is triggered to happen. I think it's I believe it's a natural progression that comes about naturally, not that it was planned out. It's an event that can only happen at a certain place in time because of how naturally it comes, like the humanity and how humans progress into that realm, and the depravity continues, and 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 so Satan, I feel, the Antichrist is going to emerge when he is supposed to emerge. It's not that Satan has this sort of guy prepped up just to put him in place when the curtain, basically, I guess the bell rings. I guess the proverbial bell rings. I don't see that.
Well, see, I see it in the sense, since Satan. This is the way I see it. Okay, is I don't know, probably every 20 years, let's say, right? Because, you know, the person's got to be, you know, probably in his 40s, I would assume, maybe in his 30s, but, you know, older in age in order to influence people. You know, just like the president, you have to be minimum of 35, but, you know, there is a time. You're not going to have a 10-year-old that's going to lead the world unless you're, what's that?
I know you're talking about.
What's that? What's
the girl, the Norwegian, the Swedish girl?
No. It's Buddhists or whatever. You know, they have.
Oh, the Rinpoche.
Yeah, so the little kid
Yeah,
that does
the next Dalai Lama,
yeah.
basically.
So, so, you know, I figure, you know, probably 20, maybe every 20, 30 years or so, I would say that Satan's probably looking for that person to be able to to push into that place, someone that he already knows is going to be obedient to his influence and is ready to go, because he can read the Bible and he can probably tell the end times, so maybe he hasn't been. But I would say if you lived in Rome, it looked like the end times. If you were Jewish or African American or someone with a disability in Germany during World War II, well, it wouldn't have been African American, but a person of African descent, probably looked at this is the end times. All these things are adding up. So we can look throughout Scripture and kind of put spots on it. Maybe Satan's more intelligent than that and saying, no, it's going to be a worldwide event. It's not going to be isolated to particular countries, but it's going to be a global event. So if that's the case, then yeah, he probably hasn't had somebody ready, to do that. But I kind of feel like the Antichrist, the person that basically represents Satan here on earth and kind of brings peace to the world for the 3.5 years roughly, and I don't really mean it roughly. It does say that in the Scriptures, but there are people that believe that maybe not the actual 3.5 years or 7 years total. But he is influenced by Satan, and he has the ability to be ready at any time, and that's the way I kind of see it. I think that there's always been someone in the wings waiting just in case, So that's my theory.
No, yeah, I can see that. I can see that play out. Yeah, but it's just a different point of view how you align the end times to come about. I guess
Right.
The way I view it is when the Antichrist is ready, the end has come, and so he is not waiting to emerge. When he emerges, the end begins.
Yeah, but I guess my question then, I agree with what you're saying, but my question is, if Satan doesn't know when the end is, wouldn't he have to have somebody ready to emerge?
Well,
because isn't he the one influencing it?
No, I think he is. I don't think he's picking a guy and grooming him to be the Antichrist. I think an Antichrist is going to emerge organically, and then Satan's going to help him.
So what you're saying is Satan's just waiting for the world order to come about, let's say, right?
Satan's
and
waiting
Nancy
for the
Pelosi
guy to come
take
out.
over.
And yeah, basically, I mean, yeah, I guess I would definitely question Satan's intellect if he picked Nancy Pelosi, but
maybe it'll be AOC then, right?
I mean, honestly, AOC is a better bet than Nancy. I'll give her that.
She has longevity.
No, she's smarter than Nancy too. Nancy's just
so?
corrupt. No, yeah, I mean, she's young and
You think AOC's smart? I don't know about that.
She's smart with her play. I mean, I'm not saying she's smart with what she's doing. I'm just saying with what she's playing, she plays smart. She plays to her audience. She knows where she stands. She knows her role, and she's really hyping herself up to get the popularity and notoriety. Even if it's hate, people know her.
Yeah, I mean, and that's, but yeah, in that sense.
And for how dumb some of her policies are, people still know her. I mean,
I
hate
don't,
it or love it, you talk about her.
Yeah.
And that's the part I think
I just don't
is
know
very smart.
if her intellect would be there. It's like, I think somebody, has to be pretty intelligent and in order to take that position.
That is true because the Revelation 17, I was actually reading that. It says, when the Antichrist emerges, the world that has not known Christ is going to see him and say, so there is a wise one.
Yes.
So they're going to look at this man and go, that's the man who's going to bring us peace.
Right.
That's the man. He's not going to come as this guy who everybody hates. He's going to come as the guy that everybody adores. He's going to be nice.
Yes.
He's going to be very pleasant. He's going to be the guy every person ever dreamed of to be the leader.
Yes.
And he's going to speak the right words. He's going to have wisdom. He's going to have kindness. He's going to have the things that people like.
Right.
Just not the spirit of kindness, spirit of love. Just not that. The words, yes.
Right.
We can't read the spirit, but when you're being in the spirit, that's why they say we talk about emphasis on the spiritual man. The spiritual man recognizes the facade that the Antichrist is putting on.
Move your hand.
It's fine.
Okay.
But for an unspiritual man or a non-believer, the words are going to be very mesmerizing, and that's what's going to help him bring the world together to create the one world order or whatever he wants to create. and basically entice them into this idea that I am
So,
God.
so you kind of look at it as like Satan's just waiting around for that to happen, and then because that happens, he's going to be able to influence
in
that person.
essence, a charismatic guy like Hitler, less of the genocide, I guess. Well, I guess delayed genocide, but so a guy like Hitler, but on the world stage, where
Right.
initially everybody, at least his people, loved him, right?
Yeah.
So this guy comes in, everybody loves him, and that's and I mean, do you want to see as Hitler somebody Satan propped, or do you want to see him as somebody that just happened because of his personality to predispositions?
Well, I mean, yeah, that's a whole nother
So
radio
that's
show.
and it's going to be the
So,
same. And I
yeah.
think the Antichrist is going to be a similar world figure. I mean, granted, Hitler now that we look back in retrospect is a terrible person.
Correct.
But in early 1925, he was a hero
Yeah,
to Germany.
Well, not only that, I think he got Man of the Year at one point prior to World War II.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, if you look at Germany from the World War I, they were like
So-
completely bankrupt, and they go to this era of complete innovation. They're ahead of the rest of the world by 10 years, and this
Yeah.
guy turns it around. I mean, the guy was nuts, but the brief 10 years, everybody loved him in his country.
Yeah, well, I guess that's to be seen. But so, anyways, is the Antichrist here today? I don't know. I kind of look at it as there's always one in the mix that Satan's
One in the chamber?
One in the chamber, you know. So, but you know what? Well, all we can do is control ourselves and control our actions. And it's not like I'm going to be able to stop the end times anyway. So we're kind of along for the ride. So hey, anyways, remember this show is sponsored by Alive in Christ. We're located on Badger Road Sundays at 10 o'clock. We'd love to see you here. God bless you guys.
God bless, and see you next time.
Yep. Godspeed. All righty.
You want to end it on Facebook?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh,
You
okay.
have to go up there, don't you?
Yeah, I have to.
Yeah. All righty. Thank you, sir.
Give me a second.
What?
About that aspect of it.
You're curious about what aspect?